Hey there, Heather. Hello there. It's Jeff Cutter Diamond welcoming you to yet another Cutter Degrassism. And today I'm going to be looking at my top MVPs for every season of Degrassi from season 1 as in next gen to season 18. Actually, nah, I'm going to change that up. I'm going to tell you my MVPs for Degrassi, well, yeah, my Degrassi Junior High, Degrassi High, and Degrassi Next Gen, then Degrassi in the middle seasons, and then, of course, Next Class. So I'm going to tell you my MVP for each season, the reason why, and of course, there's one key ingredient. The one key ingredient is you cannot be mentioned twice in all that this. Like you get one season to be your MVP and all that. Nothing else. So there's no like stuff. So anyway, I'll tell you my MVPs for every season from Degrassi Junior High up to Degrassi Next Class season 4 and all that. And then I did a post about a month ago and I'll give you some people with honorable mentions and all that. But this is my list. Okay. So Degrassi Junior High season 1's MVP has to be Steph. Why her? Well, I think because she made an impact from the first episode called Kiss Me Steph. And I think she basically carried a lot of things. And we thought that Steph would be one of the big leads of Degrassi Junior High and all that. So in my mind, it's got to be Steph. You know, she was living with her brother Arthur. Their parents had separated and all that. And, you know, Steph was embarrassed to have Arthur near him and all that. Near her, excuse me. And she became class president. Unfortunately, she learns that it was harder than she anticipated, so she wasn't so sure about it. The problem with Steph is she kind of used Fola as her number 2 woman, and Fola, was maybe taken advantage of somehow. Regardless of that, she gets her class presidency impeached because of her favors with Joey and all that. Or was that season 2? Can't remember. Speaking of season 2, it's got to be Spike. Spike is my MVP for season 2 because of how the pregnancy played out. If I remember right, season 2 of Junior High had the fact that Shane finally has to tell his parents the truth about impregnating Spike. And of course, that ticks off Shane's parents because, his father's an Anglican minister. And this is the 1980s when religion was really high up. And also, the feelings of things. And of course, let's not forget about Spike and how people were perceived and all that. With pregnancy. Mr. Lawrence, the unseen principal. I wish we had seen one episode in which he was kind of in frame. But the episode, I think, in my mind, is that, he caved to the pressure of the parents. I mean, I understand the parents probably thinking that their kids are going to it's going to glorify pregnancy, teen pregnancy. I get it. It's okay. But the fact of the matter is that, I doubt that highly. I think that people would see Spike's pregnancy and try to avoid being pregnant. And all that. Of course, Caitlin writes an op-ed. She gets lashed out by Spike, even though that Caitlin was trying to help. Mr. Lawrence was upset with Caitlin trying to undermine him and thought that was even worse than Joey and LD's fight over the calendar girls and calendar boys. And Caitlin said that she would become a journalist to stick it to people like Lawrence. Thanks a lot. Anyway, I think that Spike, with what she had to go through, I think that's definitely her MVP moment. Degrassi Junior High Season 3, I say it's Wheels. I know Wheels and all that because of what he had to go through. Degrassi Junior High really went there with Season 3, Wheels not allowed to see Joey outside school grounds by his adoptive parents. We find out that Wheels was adopted. I mean, they trust a Snake, but they don't trust Joey with Wheels. That's understandable. Will sneaks out while his parents go to the movies, and then finds police cars at his house when he comes back. And his grandmother came on and said that the parents had died in an accident involving a drunk driver, and that Wheels has lost his parents. They do a lot of good things and all of that. And Wheels lashes out at Joey saying, "I should never have been at your place in the first place," and all that. "I should have been with my parents." And Joey's like, "Yeah, but you could have died too." Well, Joey is partially right, but the fact that Wheels had to lash out at Joey, I mean, I get it. It doesn't hurt me one bit. And then you got Degrassi High Season 1. And I think it's the MVP of Season 1. um, yeah, tough call. Degrassi High Season 1. I know Season 2's got to. You know what? And I'm gonna just say, for fuck's sake, I'm gonna just say Joey. I think Joey in Season 1 was the best guy for Degrassi High. I kind of have to add him in, and he's definitely was not MVP of any of the next gen seasons. And then Season 2 of Degrassi High, you could say Lucy too, but I think Caitlin was the MVP because of what Caitlin had to go through. Caitlin had the on again, off again thing with Joey. She actually was closer to Claude in Season 1 of the um, Degrassi High, and then Season 2 comes, and basically Claude, you know, and Caitlin were trying to graffiti a nuke's place, and then, well, Caitlin got caught, but I mean, Caitlin had like gaudy stuff, like the big hoops and all that. She was bound to be caught on the fence. I mean, she was caught on the fence. So, like, why would you wear stuff that make you caught on a fence? I mean, for traction, but still. But yeah, Claude basically led her astray that season. And I wish that Caitlin had basically thrown Claude to the wolves and said that Claude was part of it. Obviously, Claude didn't want to go to the trial to help Caitlin because he knew that the security guard would recognize him and he would be in trouble too. So basically, Caitlin breaks it up with Claude. Thank goodness for that. And I don't know if she gets back together with Joey. Not really. But anyway, in that season, and then Claude decides to off himself because his home life sucks. His parents don't like him. Well, his parents are separating, and neither of them want him, so they need a third party. And also, Caitlin spurned him. So he basically does it. Was it selfish or not? Like, there's a lot of debate. But yeah, Caitlin had to go through the ringer. She had nightmares about Claude and all that. Joey snaps her out of it, saying that this is exactly what he wants. He wants you to feel bad about what he did and all that. Don't give him any quarter, if you will. And Caitlin realizes it. Kurt. Okay, so let's go to next gen. All right, so season 1. Now, these are my opinions, of course. Season 1 is Emma. In a way, this has got to be Emma's best season. It's about her being catfish and how it affected her within the season. Of course, we're going to talk about the specific season. There will be a little bit of Cliff's Notes for subsequent seasons, or seasons beforehand, but anyhow. So Emma in season 1, the first episode, thinks she meets a boy online named Jordan, and unfortunately, though, he's a middle-aged man who takes advantage of Emma, or almost did. Thankfully, though, Manny, Toby, and JT team up to get Spike and Snake involved and get Emma out of trouble. Unfortunately, the effects of the catfishing happened twofold. One fold is the episode in which Emma thinks Liberty is being touched inappropriately by Coach Armstrong, who's there. Manny does tell her that she's probably just thinking wrong and all that. And, Emma, I think, was going to listen to her. But then, unfortunately, Terry and Paige spread the rumors and basically put Emma in charge and make Emma feel like she was the one who started the rumor when it wasn't her fault. She was confiding in Manny and all that. But which would be funny because, Emma got the way she butted into other people's business. So of course Emma learns that Liberty has dyscalculia, it's like dyslexia but with math, and that Armstrong was trying to comfort her. Emma did the right thing. But of course, Emma did hide the fact that, she was uncomfortable because of the fact that, she was taken advantage of by Jordan. So it possibly, she could have easily told Liberty that she was worried about Liberty because of her being hit hard, but I don't think she wanted to share that. Liberty blows Emma off. And twofold is when Manny becomes part of the spirit squad and Emma's upset with cheerleading, and Paige says, "We're not going to worry about sexism because we have boys on the team." Sexism and gender are two different things, actually. It's not it's not the gender problem. It's the fact that people think cheerleaders are bimbos and take advantage of them. Emma was looking out for Manny. Unfortunately, though, it goes a little too far. So she had the right idea, wrong execution. Not the first or last time she would have that problem. And yeah, I think it was because she was uncomfortable thinking someone was going to take advantage of Manny like her and all that. So anyhow, what a moment. So yeah, so Emma had issues. Of course, subsequent seasons would make her at her worst. Season 2, making mountains out of molehills, especially with the Spike and Snake relationship. The Spike aborting baby Jack, which she doesn't, and the whole fight with Raj on the GMO foods that kind of spilled over into Raj's anger towards Emma. Season 3, she had the fights with Manny, but rightfully so. I mean, yes, Emma did some bad stuff, but she was protecting Manny, and she was right calling Manny the school slut. Season 4, her problems with Chris dating Liberty blew up in her face. Well, her glow up actually blew up in her face she tried to go into Paige's clique. They brush her off because she was protecting Rick, and she almost died because of that. Season 5, she's with Peter for no damn good reason, other than probably she wanted Sean, and she wanted to be a boy with a boy to feel safe and all that. After all, Sean did save her from a bullet. Season 6, the whole Lakers thing, it affected her. She tried to cling on to Sean, she tried to cling on to Manny, and all that. Season 7, being with Damien for no damn good reason. Season 8 and 9, being with Kelly with no good reason, trying to fit in with Kelly's friends because she felt lost. And, you know, she was just terrible. All right. Season 2 is Craig. I mean, come on. The insights in his character. Yes, subsequent seasons made him look like a douchebag. But season 2 was his most powerful season, and I agree. So we see in the season 2 premiere that Emma is babysitting for Joey's daughter Angie, but this guy is taking pictures of them. We find out his name is Craig, and his father basically beats him for almost no good reason. I mean, being late for dinner, yeah, you yell at him, but you don't beat him and all that. But yeah, he's got aggression and all that. Like, there's no one that sees. Craig feels lost and all that. His dad does break Craig's camera because he was into photography. Oh my gosh, I actually said it right. But anyway, $3,000. Later, he wanted to take Angie to BC. Everyone was shocked, but we find out why. Because through Craig seeing his dead mother's headstone, the pieces fall together. It's Julia. And we find out that Julia left Albert, that's Craig's dad, to be with Joey. And that's who Joey was moaning over, the death of his wife. And Angie and Craig are step siblings. Craig wanted a family to be happy with. His father basically beat him for no good reason. I mean, work stress is one thing, but like, why are you taking it out on your kid? Fuck. So anyway, Craig lives with Joey for a while. Albert tries to get better, but a leopard doesn't change his spots, and basically a skunk doesn't change his stripe. So Albert does all that, and then Albert dies in a car crash. He probably was so mad at Craig that he lost control of his car, either on purpose or by accident. And of course, Craig is happy that Albert's dead, his tormentor's dead. Everyone tries to tiptoe around Craig and all that. Raj tells him, in one of course, Raj's good moments, that, you don't have to go to school. I'm not going to flunk you because, you have a family member dead. Of course, Raj was the teacher when Wheels' parents died. Adopted parents, I must say. And then, of course, Craig had great insights and all that. So, you know, Craig got better in a sense. Season 3 is when Snake. Season 3, I say Snake. It's got to be Snake. I mean, MVP. I could say Ashley, but Ashley was not really the best in that situation. Neither was Craig, neither was Manny, and all that. So, anyway, I give Snake season 3 because, his chemo plotline was good and all that. It showed how much Snake had to deal with, and, reuniting with the Sit Remedy with, of course, Joey and Wheels, who, well, Neil Hope's, I guess, last Degrassi appearance before he died. He said that, he was the one in Schools Out that got in trouble for 9 years for killing a kid while drunk. And then he said he wanted to die and all that. And says that this is nothing. You have to fight on. And Snake finally smiles at um, Wheels. And then they get together and all that. Snake's chemo is in remission. We don't hear any mention of it ever. So I guess he got out of it. That's good. All right, season 4 is Paige for MVP. I mean, season 4 brought out the worst in a lot of people. I couldn't really find anything. JT definitely couldn't. Manny, nah, not really. Liberty, maybe, but I think it's Paige. Come on, look at what Paige had to go through in season 4. 4 guys, 4 different ways to screw her over, and maybe, just maybe, that led her to turn on guys for a while. But the fact of the matter is that, come on. Here's what Paige's rap sheet is in season 4. Dean went first. Dean, season 2 had his way with Paige, and then, Paige tries to get revenge a couple ways. She files a police report. She finally gets it through, and then she's actually unsure about it because she's like, I don't want Spinner to find out all these things about me and Dean. However, Spinner is okay with it, saying he knows that Paige is needs to do the right thing. So Paige does. She goes to the trial. Dean's lawyer tries to ruin her, but does not, and Paige faces it graciously. The judge even gives Paige credit. Unfortunately, due to lack of evidence, they have to let Dean go. And I'm like, the stuff to the Sauve? She said that's a Sauve, and that's not admissible? Well, I guess it doesn't get admissible, but still, I mean, frick. And then, of course, Spinner, with trying to get revenge on Dean, she crashes Spinner's car into Dean's car, and Spinner was ready to take the rap, but Paige basically does and tells Dean, I'm going to do the right thing. That's what good people do when bad things happen, and Dean acts like a douchebag. But then Spinner kind of holds the car damages on her, like dangling like a carrot. Spinner openly flirts with Manny, even though Paige is working at the movie theater to pay Spinner off for his car repairs. Like, Spinner was at his horrible nature. And let's face facts. Like, this is not the worst stuff Spinner did in season 4. But the fact of the matter is that Paige had to deal with Spinner openly flirting. Rick coming back to Degrassi and causing a lot of friction with Paige, obviously, because of what happened in season 3 and all that. Nobody wanted Rick back at the school and all that. So, Rick kind of got on Paige's bad side. And then Paige must have heard it secondhand that, Rick had a gun. And then Paige was like, oh my God, maybe he wanted to shoot me. Fortunately for Paige, Rick didn't. And Paige calmed Rick down until Spinner and Jay point him towards Jimmy. Anyhow, she was actually in a relationship with Olander, finding out that Olander was a student teacher, but still didn't care and still dated him and all that. So anyhow, yeah, Olander got the worst in her, and Olander basically threw Paige under the bus, and Paige, for some reason, wanted to protect Olander by trying to transfer classes and transfer schools, but she would have had to complete another year and all that. She would have had to repeat her year and all that. Like, Snake was trying to help Paige. Paige thought that Snake was trying to ruin her, but no, Snake was on Paige's side. You could see it in his eyes. Nevertheless, you know, Olander got the worst of Paige. And then season 5, he breaks up with Paige and gives her drugs. Season 5 is Spinner. I mean, this is MVP. This was Spinner's best season. Season 4 made him look like a total jerk. And do you think he's the worst person in season 4? Maybe, maybe not. But the fact of the matter is, Spinner decided to do a redemption arc. Jay, not so much. But yes, Spinner was brought back to the school for season 5, and Hatzalakos put him on a short leash, and Spinner understood. Everyone ignores him, obviously, for what happened to Jimmy. Spinner decides to go to the friendship club, the Christian club, to try to better himself and tells Darcy, why does God love somebody who put his best friend in a wheelchair? But Darcy treats Spinner quite well, and Spinner feels good. There were a few bumps, as in Marco and the gang were upset that Spinner would be close to the friendship club after so many problems. But Spinner basically, I think, said that, look, you guys are not talking to me. I have to find somebody and all that. And then, they kind of understand that Spinner kind of is trying to fix the problems without trying to beg his friends for forgiveness. Marco comes along, Paige comes around, Jimmy even comes around. So thankfully for Spinner, it all worked out. His pain and suffering actually worked out in the end. And plus, he got rid of Jay for a while, which actually makes me happy. Spinner and Jay were definitely not supposed to be together. Season 6 is Sean. I think Sean coming back in season 6 made him the MVP. I mean, I could say Manny, but not really. I could say Mia now. Liberty, not even Liberty. No, because Liberty was kind of a prick. So was Mia in this whole Degrassi Lakers situation. So Sean comes back in season 6 out of nowhere and sticks his nose into the the Peter and Emma relationship, Pema. I think Sean was stuck in to get rid of Pema because of all the hate on the internet message boards back in 2005. So yeah, so Sean, I think, was there just to get rid of Pema once and for all. And Peter gets scared that Sean is trying to butt in with Emma again because of their history. Emma assures Peter nothing's wrong, but Peter decides to get rid of Sean to make sure he stays in the relationship with Emma and tricks Emma into many things. Fortunately, though, thanks to Jay and Manny, Emma sees right through Peter, gets rid of him, and then sticks with Sean. Sean leaves because he hears about Jay's exploits with Emma in the ravine. Emma is honest and says that she needed some help because of the whole shooting situation. And Jay basically was bragging about it. I think he just wanted to get Manny and Emma in trouble. Fortunately, Sean came back, stayed with Emma, and, season 6 Sean was a lot different than season 3 Sean, that's for sure. Because he stayed with Emma even though that Emma was talking bullshit with the whole Lakers fiasco. I think if Sean had not been on Emma's side with the whole Degrassi Lakers situation in the aftermath, I think that Emma probably would have had to back down because no one was helping her. She was trying to get someone on her side, and then, Sean, thanks to Peter's stupidity, decides to go to the army. Emma has second thoughts about it. And that had problems. So, yeah, he went to the army. Emma felt terrible. She almost thought about faking pregnancy, but in the end, she couldn't do it. She had to let John go, even though that she was forlorn. Season 7 is Manny. I kind of had passed Manny off too many times. I was like, nah, why not? That blonde Manny face. Ugh. Yeah, Manny was, of course, oppressed at home and all that, and decides to date Jay to try to get her parents off her back, but her parents like Jay and all that. And of course, Jay does not tell Manny about his role in the whole Rick situation. Obviously, if someone had told Manny about what Jay was like, even Spinner should have said something to Manny about Jay and all that, trying to get back at Jay. But Spinner and Jay kind of were hanging out again, which was stupid. But I think Manny was okay. Yeah, it's understandable. Immigrant parents want what's best for their kids, but they can be a little bit overbearing. But, all right. Season 8 is Jane. Come on. She went through the ringer, especially with her dad and the chef. Jane decided to try it for the football team saying that it's like rugby and all that. It's even better than rugby in a sense because rugby you don't really have padding. In um, football you do. So she tries out, she does okay and all that, but the team hates her and all that, and gets on Jane's bad side. And Shep, who's the principal after Hatzlekos takes leave, is the football coach. Isn't that some kind of conflict of interest? Like the principal? I mean, principals are different. And then you have yourself, yeah, the Shep was being a giant douchebag. But yeah, she's off the football. She leaves the football team because of the Shep and all that. And then Shep wants Jane back on the team, but doesn't really like her. Anyway, Jane goes through the ringer with her dad because her dad's now back in her life. She doesn't know why she hates him, but then she realizes that he took advantage of her while he was dressing her while her their mom worked. Like Lucas and Jane's mom worked. Unfortunately, Jane learns that he kind of touched her inappropriately and all that. Fortunately, though, she gets through to Lucas, who then blasts his dad, saying that we don't want you in your lives. And Lucas does try to apologize for what he did. And Jane says, we're just kids, and you're here now. That's fine. Lucas and then is gone the next season. We don't even hear any mentions from Jane. Stupid. Stupid, stupid, stupid. Anyway, season 9 is Claire. I think Claire, this was her most variable season. I mean, season 8 as well. I mean, helping Connor out in the face of Shep and getting Shep in trouble. But I think Claire in season 9 did not really have the drama as much as she had in subsequent seasons. Her parents divorcing and then her mom marrying her boyfriend's dad, meaning that they were step siblings, which means Claire had to lose the relationship, trying to forget about Eli, and then does the flick the switch on me thing because she was full of drama. I mean, Katie was right about that. And then Claire, got pushed with cancer and all that with that blonde wig that made it look ugly. Ugh. And then, of course, being pregnant and then miscarrying and all that, and trying to find a relationship with Drew to defy Eli. Yeah, but yeah, season 9 I think was her least dramatic season. I mean, yeah, Jenna stole Casey from her because Claire was trying to fix Casey the way of Emma trying to be with Sean to fix him. I think. Season 10 is Holly J. I've got to say Holly J. She finally learned not to be such a massive prick and all that. I think season 10 was the turnaround for her. She was seen pushing Anya around, pushing a lot of people around, and she had the thing with Toby in season 7. She just basically said she has to be Holly J for her friends. She can't be seen with Toby. I mean, Holly J is a gigantic douchebag that people don't want to be around. And then after the face rage thing, I think that kind of got Holly J and all that. But I think Holly J gets it. So yeah, although she had in subsequent seasons nearly got robbed and the kidney thing with her real mother. Season 11 is Adam. I think this was when Adam got onto people's good side. Well, he was introduced halfway through season 10 and all that. And, as a male, as a female transitioning to a male. We didn't see that much on Canadian TV and especially with Degrassi. I'm surprised that we didn't get a male to female storyline. But that's the thing. That's what the producers do. But anyway, Adam, I think in season 11 was definitely the MVP. I know this started the whole 40 episode season, and it's hard to press. They wanted to put so many storylines. So yeah, I think that Adam, we start to get to know Adam, and then a couple years later, we lose him in a texting and driving accident because the actress wanted to leave the show. Season 12 is Maya. Well, to me, this is actually the season in which Maya was more bearable in a sense. I mean, when subsequent seasons, season 13, trying to protect Tristan and Miles to not good effect, being cyber shamed by Zoe, getting no answers, her blowing off at her mom and Simpson and all that. She was upset that they weren't helping her out. And then, of course, the whole drama with being with Sig, trying to help Sig out after he leaves the gang because of the whole Cam situation. Yeah, of course, the season 12 is the Cam situation. And then Maya, trying to fit in next class. Nevertheless, I think that season 12, she was trying to deal with love triangle. She was trying to deal with Tori being a jealous prick and all that. So yeah, that love triangle. She was right saying that Cam was selfish for offing himself. So to break up with her. I mean, I get it. They want Maya to be sad, but Maya's like, he was selfish. I was trying to help him. Yeah. And Sig basically was being a prick. And, I went through the ringer. Season 13 is Becky. The whole situation with Luke was one thing in season 13, but she was actually kind of trying to change her image and all that. She was trying to be accepting of Jenna. She was trying to be normal. Unfortunately, though, Becky, I think, wasn't really taken seriously. And then she's with Adam and all that. Adam kind of likes Imogen too, but Adam decides to be with Becky. But then he dies in texting and driving thing, and Becky's upset over everything. But what's even worse was what Luke did to Zoe alongside Neil, his friend. So Luke and Neil are on trial. Becky's parents try desperately to get Becky to tell them the truth that the video was wrong and all that. Luke tells Becky everything she needs to know. Like, Luke obviously should be blamed. I mean, maybe Becky did have second thoughts, but Luke told her. And Becky even said it on the stand. And yet her parents still tried to freeze her. Her parents couldn't really throw her out because it would have caused a fuss. And, all that. I wouldn't be surprised if Luke's dad lost his job as a minister because of Luke's misdeeds and all that. Yeah, season 14, she was put the ringer. She was trying to get her family to like her, but her family just put the froze on her because, she should have been protecting the golden child. And of course, the hypocritical Christian values and all that shit. Becky was good. Of course, Becky would have been on the Spirit Squad. She rejected Zoe because she didn't want a distraction. Zoe makes Becky injure herself, and that's when she started things. And then season 14 is when Eli, I put Eli. I could have put Drew in, but like trying to redeem himself. I mean, he lost Bianca and all that. She broke up with him. She was his fiance. Drew should have just said to Bianca that, why are you breaking up with me? If it wasn't for me, you'd be in a different situation and all that. I protected you from the police. I think he should play that card. Yeah, but anyway, Eli, was in New York, but then came back to Toronto to help Claire out. He took a job at the Dot. He was willing to give up his pay for the child for the child that Claire was carrying and all that. He was starting to get better and better, and I think that it was good to see him in a good role. Okay, next class. Season 1 is Miles. I think Miles was the MVP. I mean, he was fighting Tristan for student council president, which he lost because of him overspending on a budget, and Simpson put a budget on the campaign and all that. But yeah, he had family drama. His father was openly in a relationship with another woman, although that Mayor Hollingsworth was trying to get out of the mess. His mother was of little help. Miles had to deal with Hunter being an incel after losing the gamer club because of stupidity. It was stupid. I mean, Goldie had a point that those models were bad towards females, but Hunter said that that's how it was, and it wasn't really their creation. So thus, they couldn't do anything about it. But yeah, Goldie used her powers, and Hunter almost kills Maya and Goldie and a lot of other people. Fortunately, though, Miles stops Hunter and all that. Next class season 2, I couldn't really find an MVP. I could say Shay. You know what? I go with Shay because you know what she had to go through. in next class season 2. I'm gonna go say Shay in season next class 2. Because of the whole racist poster thing and the cheerleading. I mean, cheerleading. Sorry, the volleyball team did kind of throw Frankie under the bus to save their own butts. I will say that much. But the fact is that um, Shay was going to be on Frankie's side, but then the Northern Tech captain told her about this stuff, and then Shay turns on Frankie quickly. And then, unfortunately, in Throwback Thursday, she gets mad at a cop, and she wants to be on part of the Junior Olympic team, but they say no. You have to apologize for blessing a cop and all that. We don't want distractions. And Shay stands her. I think she stands her ground or something, or the Olympic or the volleyball thing changes their mind. Nevertheless, Shay does her job and all that, and does what is right. All that. I think. I think so. Because yeah, I think she does do her job. So yeah. She's the policeman and all that. Terrorist. All that. So anyway. Yeah, Shay says she can't apologize and all that. Anyway, she can't apologize and all that. But thankfully, though, yeah, I think there have been changes. Next class, season 3, I couldn't really find an MVP and all that. Someone who shined and all that. I brought out the word. The bus crash brought the worst in people. I would have said Miles, but I already used him. So yeah, that's the rule. I have no idea. Honestly, I have no clue. And then next class, season 4, I think Sig is the MVP. I mean, why not? Just give this guy one chance to be an MVP. I mean, he was in a polyamorous relationship with Frankie and Esme. Esme was acting like a jerk and all that, and she was actively trying to destroy Maya, even though that she kind of saved Maya's life. But I think she was hoping to get all the praise and glory. But everyone turned towards Maya, and then Esme got jealous as fuck, if you will. I mean, yeah, Sig does go through the ringer. He accidentally talks to Maya and invites her to prom, and they go together, even though Maya kind of is unsure about it. Esme finds out and blows up at Sig and pushes him. All that. Although Maya does say, Sig, go towards her. Unfortunately, though, Maya is so racked with guilt that she decides not to go to graduation, but Grace tells her not to. You gotta fix this problem. So anyway, Sig is distracted by Esme at a speech and all that. And Esme is upset that Sig wants to break it off with her, saying, I called in a bomb threat. Everyone thought it was Syed for some reason because of Syed's problems. Oh boy, home run. Anyway, um, so that's big and all that. So anyhow, yeah, Sig gets beat up by Esme with the bicycle helmet. Maya does tell Sig she had to tell on Esme with Growl. She deserved it. And I think Maya also wanted Esme to get help because Esme kind of did save her life. So that's okay. So that's the MVPs in my opinion, all of them. And now let's see what other people say. I think Strawberry said that Eli in season 12 was his best season. Yeah, I guess you're right. Markev said, well, Emma was featured prominently in season 1. I think Ashley is the standout that season. I kind of think, too, that Ashley was going to be the breakout character, but they really wanted Emma to be the protagonist, and they basically took Ashley down a peg or two in season 2, the writers did. That's true, but Emma went through the ring. And after all, I mean, what season would Emma have been the MVP in? All that. Not really. She had troubles. Season 7, they say that Darcy is a clear winner. Mm, actually, yeah. Why the fuck did I say Manny? You're right. Darcy should be season 7. Yeah, for what Darcy's went through and all that. Yeah, she did some bad stuff and she was self-loathing and she had troubles. But I mean, Darcy went through the motions. She would never find her rapist. It was never found out. She had to deal with the repercussions of accusing Simpson, although she did backtrack on that. But she, of course, didn't say why and all that. Yeah. And season 9 to Holly J. And then said the rest were on point. Fair. Someone snarkily said, "Next class 2, whatever caused the bus crash to take Tristan out of season 3." Fuck that. Endgame Lover says season 12 would be Eli, because not only did he deal with the musical stuff with Becky, he was dealing with emotions after bittersweet sympathy. He pushed Claire away because he was trying to go down the same path and all that. And he realized that he needed to be with Claire. He didn't want to go down the same path. That's right, because Eli was the one who found Cam in the greenhouse in such a bad state. Yeah, and Snake even talks to him saying that Eli's just like him because Snake is the one who found Claude in the bathroom. Season 14 would be Claire. She not only had complications with the pregnancy, she was recovering from a chemo treatment. In the end, she wanted to find out who she was again. That's actually quite decent too, but as I said, Claire, one season per character. So the character had to be in just one season. But yeah, Claire, I think, is right. I think you're right. Season 14 was there. She was recovering from her chemo treatment. But, I did it in chronological order, and I can't use Claire twice. Yes. They wanted Claire to be the way she was portrayed when she started in season 8, that, she was going to be the new Emma with her causes causing a lot of trouble. And that's what happened with Pill and all that with the cameras. I mean, cameras are one thing, but with audio, just to make sure she did the right thing, pathetic. And Dependent Candle says Lola for season 3 because Sleeping with Miles. Oh, crap. That was the season in which Lola was pregnant, wasn't it? Yes, it was. Okay. Yeah, good point. All right, but as I'm telling you how I feel and how other people think. I personally think, yeah, season 1, but I had to put Emma in at least one season. Season 7 actually may have been her last dramatic season, but after all, Darcy would have been season 7 by my mind. So anyhow, that's all I got to read into it. And yeah, thanks for your input. And thank me for my input and realizing, oh my gosh, I do have a topic for a Degrassi Sunday video. So anyway, next Sunday I will talk about the biggest villains per season and all that. Remember, each character only well, each character only is eligible for one season. I tell you my thoughts and what everyone else thinks. Anyhow, I'm Jeff Diamond Edu.